Hey, what's up guys? It is your girl Kristyn Alexis and welcome back to my trading channel. So in today's video, we are going to talk through rejection blocks and I'm going to share with you a little hack that I have found very useful when trading these and has made me successful when it comes to rejection blocks overall. So I will share with you my rules and how I trade them, and then I will also link ICT's video on rejection blocks in the description box in the event you want to watch the video. So first of all, just a little bit of context. This is a bearish rejection block setup. This setup is found on major or intermediate term downtrend. So that's what this was in this particular setup. I'm also looking at the top of a fractal. So this fractal here, I am looking for this particular setup to be here at the very top, which is why I like to see, or where I like to see these wicks happen. If they happen in the middle and they're just kind of lined up next to other things inside of a bunch of candles, I don't usually give those a lot of attention or credit. But if it's at the top of a fractal like this one is, I really pay attention to them and look inside of them for what I'm going to show you next. The other thing I wanted to spike out is that you definitely want to identify your highest candle. And I also like to see that the wick took liquidity. That just kind of adds a little bit of sauce on top of it to make me feel even better about the probability of this particular trade. The last thing I look for is if there is any SMT. And on this setup, there was indeed bearish SMT between ES and NQ. And if you guys want to talk about SMT, we'll get into that later on in another video on my channel. So I think the first thing is I wanted to mention these rejection blocks are, in my humble opinion, when I see a block, I basically think price is not going to trade through that block and make a higher high, because that block is essentially blocking price, aka blocking the bodies from closing inside of that rejection block. You can see this happen, but that's just kind of how I look at like an order block or a rejection block and what has helped me to memorize them and how to use them and what I typically see in trading, where there are definitely always going to be exceptions. So I do want to mention that in case you see an anomaly or you see an exception. It does happen where you can get a body closing inside of those things, especially when they come back, but typically the body will get kicked out. And that's just something I've observed time and time again when trading with this methodology. I also want to mention this is the first candle that was created after the rejection block. You also, in terms of trading them, when Michael teaches them in his video, he teaches you to trade when price returns back to the block. That is another way you can trade them. However, I will tell you, when they're first printed, they do give a move like what you see here on the chart. So what I do is when I see this candle close, and I do hawk candle closes, I definitely encourage this because candles tell a lot of story, right? And ICT teaches the bodies tell the story, the wicks do the damage. So when you have these candle closes, especially on particular time frames, they're going to be giving you some clues and some messages. So I saw this wick, I dropped down, and I really liked the 30-minute time frame for what I saw within the rejection block. So this is the block that we drew from that 6-hour time frame. This is our 30-minute. And a couple of things I want to call out that I saw on the chart. I have this fair value gap right here, which is what I later use for my entry. And I really like this fair value gap because it's also a balanced price range. As you can see, you have, if you imagine it as like a paint swatch or a paint swipe up, going up here. And then when price came down, you have another paint stroke down like this. And that basically makes it balanced because you have an equal representation of buyers and sellers in the same range, right? So I look for price to return back up into that BPR, aka balanced price range. And then after that, I dropped down in time frame and looked for a setup. So what I got is on this 5-minute, I actually took the inversion of this BISI, this bullish fair value gap, after price touched this block up here. If I can get it out, I feel like this is a mouthful. But I took my entry here, and as you can see, the move down was beautiful. Gave a really nice move down, very, very nice, and took out these lows down here. So I think that, you know, the biggest thing, again, I always look to ensure the rejection block has gaps inside of it. I'm going to focus on that balanced price range because I really find them to be very high probability. If you find them inside of the right PD array, they typically give you your move that you're looking for, as well as when I'm using my smaller time frame, I'm additionally finding even, I guess you'd say, tighter range to be able to enter and to use my stop loss to minimize a little bit of that risk that you would have if you had to use this full swing high up here at the top. So let me just recap things I want you to remember. Number one, make sure you pay attention to the candle close of the rejection block. If I see a block like this close, I'm immediately going down in time frame and I'm looking for the fair value gaps inside of the wick, especially a balanced price range. I then am also looking for SMT. I want to make sure it's at the top of a fractal. And if I have all those things and I see these gaps, I'm definitely looking for them to be a good setup to give me my trade. I think the last thing I want to spike out is this trade happened just after lunch. So we also had the lunch raid playing in our favor as well, which was another thing that added to the bias for this move, as well as price had not taken the London low, and it had taken Asia low before going up, but London low was left intact, and this move did go down and also take London low as well. So just a couple of things that I have noticed from these, and I just really have found it to be very, very helpful to being successful with rejection blocks. I know a lot of people don't like them and don't like trading them, but I absolutely love them. And I love them as well because they are aggressive. Like, look at these candles. Once you had this move start, these candles just kind of poured right out the block and was very fast and quick to pay you in this trade. So I really hope that you guys found this helpful and interesting, and definitely don't be scared to trade the rejection block or the turtle soup, and think about all the things that I shared with you here today in this video. But you also got to make sure you go and watch Michael's video so you can get it from the OG, from the actual teacher, so you can get his perspective, because you know Michael's going to give you exactly what you need. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, and if you have any questions, let me know in the comments section. I'll see you guys in my next upload. Bye-bye.